Howdy everyone, this is Tricia and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how I put together these cute little bags or tote purses, whatever you want to call them. These are made with these placemats that I found. So I thought they were really cute and I wanted to do something with them. So here's my idea of making these tote bags. These are fabric lined on the inside with zippered pockets. So there we go. I thought it was a nice project, and if you want to see how I put them together, keep on watching. Alright, so to make my bags, I'm going to be using some placemats. As you can see here, I've got some placemats, you know, typical ones round that you can find pretty much anywhere. I found mine at Ross. And then I found these other ones. I don't recall where I got them from, but I thought they were interesting, and I want to do a bag from this as well, so we're going to try that out. Alright, so I also have some coordinating fabrics. Of course, this one has some watermelons, and I don't have anything that will match precisely, but I do have a pink fabric with some flowers. I think that'll be cute inside, and of course I needed a zipper, so I've got that. And then for this one I had these Hawaiian prints that I had collected, and I have this orange, and I really like this, so I'm going to use that. And of course I've got a zipper to go with that. To make my handles, I'm going to be needing some ribbons or some cords. I've got some to choose from here, and we'll see what I end up using. But I've got this one, I've got a green gingham. I think that would be cute for a strap on this one. But I also have some twine and of course some rope, just in case. Okay, so to put this all together, I'm going to be using my sewing machine. I could use my glue gun as well. So we're just going to get started and see what we use. So let's get to crafting. Alright, so before I cut my fabric, by the way, I'm going to need at least a yard of fabric for each of my bags. Okay, so here I've got some paper that I grabbed from this roll. I put a couple of sheets together so that it would be big enough, and then I just taped it all together. First I'm just going to trace one of my placemats, and the other one is about the same size as this one. Put it right next to it so that you can see. Alright, so I'm going to go from the widest point of my bags, the circle that I've made, and then just kind of do some lines upward. This just tells me, you know, the space that I need. Try to do it as straight as you can. I'm sort of kind of using this edge of the paper as a guideline. Okay, so I just want to have those lines. I can make one on the top here, just to give me a space here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out this rectangle here that I have. Alright, so now I've got this piece here, and I have the arch of my circle. I'm just going to darken it here so we can see it, or so you can see it. There you go, I think you can see it now, right there. Okay, in the bottom we're just going to leave it because we're going to cut that circular. But I want to see where on my mat, I'm going to grab the mat again, line it up with a circle. I want to fold it down. Okay, I want to have this folded down, and I think I like this measurement. So I am going to go ahead and mark with my straight edge where I want that. Now if I wanted to use the whole circle, I'll tell you in a minute, but I want to fold it down like that. So I want the little bag that's going to be inside with a zipper to be aligned with this. So I'm going to mark that line here. Okay, and I'm going to put this back on here, fold it just to give it another look. And yes, let's see, right here. Yes. Okay, so to remember that, I'm just going to make like a little mark here on my circle here. I'm going to follow that folded mark that I also left there. I'm just going to make a little line like that. You can use a fabric pencil that just kind of air erases, or you can use a little bit of water. I just use a pencil, it's okay. I'm just making that one little mark there just to kind of remind myself. I'm going to use the same measurement for the other mat as well. Okay, so what I want to do here, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to do the opening up here, so you could leave this as a full circle and then have the other bag in here and have the zipper in here, so then you would mark like where how big do you want the opening for your zipper, and then make a straight cut like that. because you would need to cut your fabric like that. You're going to need that little lip to fold in so you have a nice fold to put your zipper on, okay? But I'm going to have it way down here. So now what I want to do is I'm just going to go in about an inch from the, here's where my circle is going. I'm just going to go about an inch and mark right there and go up. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, about an inch and go up. And then I'm going to measure an inch using the straight edge ruler that I have, and I like to use a clear one because then I can see this line through it on the paper. I can see through it here, and then go up an inch and mark that. And I have a nice line right there that I can then fold this down, and my zipper can be along that little edge. So let's go ahead and cut it so that then we'll understand as we go along. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut out my circle. Okay, first I'm going to show you that if we're going to keep the whole roundness of the bag and you want your zipper up here, you don't want to fold it, and you would cut those markings you made. Okay, so this would be your pattern for the, and then you would just fold in a little bit. So, you know, the 1 inch, okay? And that would be the fold that you would need to go inside so that when you align your zipper, let me grab that. So when you align your zipper to sew it on there, you have a nice fold of fabric, okay? So you want to give yourself that. And don't worry about the size of the zipper. We can always cut the zipper to size. Okay, so that would be like that, and then we have another one on the other side to create that inner purse where you could open it up, and we'll show you how to put all that together. But I want that cute little fold. I want that. I want it on both bags. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cut where I marked and just trim that off. Okay, this is what I want it to be. And then we're going to fold it for our zipper, just like that. Now we're going to cut our fabric. All right, so now that I've got my pattern already, let's cut our fabric. And like I said, we need at least a yard of fabric because we are going to need to cut 4 of these, okay? So I can see that my pattern, you know, the palm trees are facing this way. The top of them are here, the bottom is here. So I'm going to put my fabric or my pattern. This is the top of my little bag. I want those designs to be. And then, you know, if you want to center things, but that's just too much trouble. So on the other one, it's got all these little flowers. That one's not going to matter because the little flowers are going in every direction. But just on this one, we're going to follow. So I'm going to cut 2, and then I'll move my pattern over with fabric, and then cut another 2. Right, doing great. I want to put some little pockets on the inside of my little bag, you know, just to, I don't know, toss in a pen or something or a phone. So I'm going to do that, and I have enough fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the pins and put aside my fabrics. I've got 4 pieces, and I already have 4 pieces of the orange. Alright, since I have scraps, it works out perfect. Alright, and I only need about that much. Let's make sure that's the width. Yes, it is. Alright, so to make the bag or pockets inside, I want them to be a little bit lower, but I'm going to use probably this whole size. So let's go ahead and measure. And that fits. And I'm cutting 2 pieces of fabric because I want the pocket to be double fabric. I don't want it to just be one piece of fabric and it's, you know, not strong enough. So I'm going to use 2. So the inside of the pocket also has the nice fabric. That's why I'm cutting 2 of everything. 2 of each side in the bag, which made it 4. All right, let's cut this out and then we'll cut from the orange as well. Okay, so here I've got the bag pieces, and remember we cut 4. So I've got 2 of them with the right size facing each other. Here I've got these also facing each other. So the wrong sides are facing outside. So remember we cut that little bit where the zippers are going to go. We're going to leave that open and we're just going to start sewing. We're not going to do this, so we're just going to start sewing from here all the way around till we come back up to this other end, and we're going to do the same thing for this piece, and then of course for the one that I cut in the orange fabric, we're going to do the same thing. So I'm just going to go about 1/4 inch. And of course I want a backspace. You can pin it so it doesn't move on you. I'm just going to hold it like that. All right. I've got these 4 pieces all sewn, so then I'm just gonna pop them open, turn them inside out, and we're going to iron them. Make sure everything is pushed out, all these seams are pushed out. We're gonna iron them, and then with these little bits here at the top, we're gonna fold them that 1 inch. We're gonna fold in 1 inch and iron that in, and we'll do the same thing on the other side of the opening. So they all have a nice folded edge right there. And so we can put our zipper in there and sew it, but we're going to get to that in a little bit, because first we got to take these pieces that we cut for these inner pockets. This one has already got the right sides facing each other. And I want to sew all the way around, kind of. Let's do the top part first. I just realized something. I should have done this, put it in here, and then sewn it all together when I did the seam, but it's okay. Okay, so then we're gonna go down the sides, and we're gonna just leave a little opening at the bottom curve. Always backspace so the seam doesn't pop off. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing with the pink one that I'm doing with this one. And then we're just going to pop it open here at the bottom. Oops, if I can grab it here, pop it open. And then just bring it all through there. And just push it all out. Make sure the little seams are out. We're going to go iron this. We'll iron the other parts, and then we'll get to the part where we're going to add this to here. Also down here at the bottom, you want to make sure that you iron that little bits of, you know, the opening, the little edges of the opening. Fold them in, iron them in, and then what you can do is then you can come and just sew that. But we're going to end up sewing this to these other parts. You don't have to really sew that close. I'll do it now because just for the heck of it. Okay, it didn't even catch on the other side. That's okay. All right, so let's take these all and iron them, and then we'll do the next little part. All right, so I've got this piece here, and I've already folded this in. And I made sure I went inside and I pushed all of this as much as I could. And I'm folding this in like I told you before, but I'm actually folding just a tad more because I want to fold in this little edge as well. Just fold it in. We can now iron that. And then I'll do that with all the other pieces. All right, now that I've ironed my little pocket and I've got the other side already ironed as well, I'm going to line it up at the bottom here. Let me just cut off these little strings. Just going to line it up and just pin it. We're not going to sew it down yet because we want to put this down and sew it all together, but we have to put his zippers first. So first I'm just going to pin this down so it doesn't move. Now I could have one big pocket, or I could sew down half of it so that I can have like 2 pockets, or maybe one a little bit smaller, maybe enough just to throw some keys in there, and this other side big enough to throw a phone in there. So that's kind of what I want to do. I want to leave like a smaller pocket over here. It's just going to be a little pocket like about that size. That's how much space you can have in there. I mean, that's enough to throw in, you know, something like that. For example, some scissors or a pen or some keys or something. And then you'll have all this other space right here so that you can toss in a phone. Okay, so we want to go ahead and sew this on here first. We're going to repeat it with the pink one as well. Alright, so I've got a pink zipper for my pink bag. I kept thinking it was the orange one, and I have this white one for this. So that's perfect. Let me push that over to the side. And then this. So this zipper needs to be sewn on like so. Make sure you align your bag here. Don't sew it like that or like that. You want to align it. Okay, so what we're doing is we're making sure this zipper part is right between both of them, like so. And then what you could do is you could open it up so that you can see that, you know, one side is over here and the other one's over here. So we can pin this. Let's get a little thin pin here. Pin it right here in the middle. And then pin it, and we want it to just overlap just a tiny bit over that little, you know, zippery part. This was a plastic, but sometimes they're metal. Plastics are a little bit nicer to use for something like this because, you know, it's, you know, your sewing machine. In case it goes over, it won't get your needle won't get harmed on the metal. Okay, so then we can do the other side like that. I like the zipper closed, to be honest with you. I like it closed better, so I can align, and I know that things aren't moving around on me. I can feel the zipper right here. Pin it. And then over here. And then of course the other side. Pin. And then this other end. Pin. And then what we're going to do is we're going to sew right along the edge here of our zipper, sewing this onto the zipper, and along this side as well. We're going to do the same thing. Sometimes as you're sewing along, you got to stop somewhere and just lift up the foot of your sewing machine, open up your zipper so you get this little part out of the way, and then continue sewing. You can turn it around, jump over the zipper, come around this way, and just kind of sew around it like that. Okay, so we're going to take this and see how that's going to make a little opening here on our little bag. Then we'll sew this, but we're not going to worry about that yet. Let's do our zippers. Now we have this other one where the zipper is like really long, right? So we don't need that much, but we do want this length on here. You always want this little extra bit because, you know, you want to sew that in there. You want to make sure you catch that. So we need it to be at least this long. Now sometimes when you cut it, this can pop open on this side. So what you can do is you take a needle and thread. Let's measure it again. I'm going to pin it so we can measure more or less where we want to cut it. All right, and we're going to sew around it quite a few times. I'm going to go ahead and move that pin out of the way. We're going to sew around there quite a few times, and then I'm going to move up just a little bit and then sew up here as well. You're just going to do that, okay? And once you've got a good, nice number of threads going across, holding it all together, you can go ahead and trim off your zipper. Now when it's plastic, it's super easy to do it. And if it's metal, get some other scissors that you don't use for your fabric to cut it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and continue sewing it, and then I'm going to put this down and pin it just like I did this other piece. All right, we're going to start sewing these. Now there is a special foot for the zippers. If you want to switch it around, you can. I'm not going to worry too much. I just want to make sure that I'm catching the zipper part underneath. And because it is a plastic zipper all the way around here, it doesn't have like thick, heavy teeth. These little bits here are called the teeth of the zipper. And you want to pin one side first, sew it, and then pin the other and sew it. It might be easier for you. Okay, so I'm getting to this part where that little zipper handle is. And like I told you, that is it'll cause the zipper to push out, and we don't want to do that. So what we're going to do, we're put our needle down, make sure it's catching our fabric and our zipper, and then we're going to lift the foot up, and we're going to open the zipper and move this out of the way. There we go. And now we have a nice smoothness here that we can move along. I'm going to go all the way down right here, and then I'm going to cross over right here, and I'm going to go back and forth. And come back over here, and then we can turn this around and sew the other piece onto the zipper. Okay, so now I'm getting to the part where, you know, this little handle of the zipper is, if you grab it to zip it, it's going to be in the way. So again, put our needle down, lift up our foot, and I'll move that out of the way. In this case, closing it, put our foot back down. Don't forget to do that, because I did. And then we're going to go and continue sewing till we get almost to the end of the zipper length. I'm going to turn this around and do the same thing we did at the other crossover where we went over it, back and forth, back and forth. Okay, put our needle down, turn it, and I just want to make sure that it's meeting with that little startup point. There we go, and that's it. Our zipper is now attached to both of these pieces. Zip it, and we'll have an opening here, right here. See that? All right. Let's do the other one, and then we'll go to the next step. All right, everyone, there is a mistake. I made a mistake, so I've gone ahead and I've unpinned these from my next one here that I'm going to do. And I did the mistake on the other one that I just sewed, and I put the zipper on. Okay, I want you to pay attention to this. Look, this is my purse, so I'm going to unzip it, right? This is going to be inside of my purse. I'm going to unzip it to reach in there. So my little pocket should be in there. I made the mistake of putting the pocket facing this way. So pay attention if you have pockets. So this part right here, I'm going to have to unsew this, turn it around, and then just sew it back on here. I'm not going to unsew it on the other side. The other side is fine because there's no pocket, and because they're double fabric, it's the same on both sides. So I'm just going to sew it because this little zipper has to be facing up. So it makes this the inside, not out here. So I'm going to unsew this, turn my pocket around, and sew it. Okay, so let's start fine with this side. So here's my side with my pocket. I'm going to put it facing down. Make sure my zipper is facing up. That's where I'm going to pin it and then sew. And then I'll do the same thing with the other side, but the other side doesn't have a pocket. If it did have a pocket, I would make sure that the pocket is facing down. The zipper here, the little handle, is facing up, okay? Just that one little thing that I did not pay attention to, and it's very important, so you don't want to make the mistake that I did. All right. We want to make sure the pocket's on the inside. I want to make sure that the zipper opens up out here. All right, so then we're going to take our circles here, and remember we wanted to fold them, or I wanted to fold them. And I've got this one marked right here. I'm going to go ahead and just pin it down. Wait, let me get a better pin here. Ooh, that's not. All my pins are busting. Okay, so we're going to fold that one like that, and we're going to grab the other one as well. Just align them. So we're going to fold this other one down as well. I'm going to pin it just for now. So here we have a piece. This is going to rest in there along this edge. But we want this part to be attached to this part because we don't want, well, maybe we do on this one. Let's see. We could actually end up with another little pocket right here between the zipper part and this. So, oh, let's do that. Okay, so I'm just going to put these like that. And then the other one sandwiched. Make sure they're meeting up here where they're folded. Yes, okay, they do. I want to do something real quick. I want to slide this one down just a little bit to make sure the zipper is well inside, and I want to get it as close to these edges. Okay, so because they don't match my edges, because, you know, remember I sewed them in, so I stole some of the circumference. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to go ahead and sew these two together, sew them right along the edge, make sure that I'm grabbing that little pocket piece that's inside of there as well, and then make sure I remove those pins. Actually, let's go ahead and remove them now and just pin it on the outside here. There's another pin over here. I didn't really need to keep those pins because the pocket's already sewn. Okay, so we're going to sew all along the edge here. Okay, so this is just making sure that this is, you know, you can't stick your hands through it. This is all sealed here. It makes a good pocket in there. So now let's take it over to the desk and do the rest. Okay, so I have the placemat here. I'll put the zipper lining with the top, and I'm going to go down maybe 1/2 inch here, okay? And then just bring it down. Grab the other piece. Make sure it's aligned with this other edge here. So now what I want to do is I'm going to sew these layers, and I'm going to make sure that when I'm sewing that I'm capturing this right here, the edge. As long as I'm capturing the edge, and then I'm going to sew again on the very outer edge to make sure that I seal, so I don't have this little, like a little lip and you can see in there. So I want to seal this, but first I want to capture this. So we're going to do one seam, making sure we're capturing that little pink, and because the thread is white, you're not really going to see it here, okay? And then we'll do another seam on the outer, very outer edge, just to close these little bits here, and that'll create the pockets that I want in here as well. And then I'll have one over here too, and then of course the one that's going to be zippered. You get it? Okay, let's go ahead and let me go ahead and sew what I'm talking about, and then we'll be back. Okay, now the first stitching that I'll do is to make sure, let me go ahead and unpin these. So I can go ahead and start like that. Okay, so the first stitching that I'm going to do is I'm going to making sure that I'm grabbing at least the tiny edge of this. Now these are all sewn together, so I don't have to make sure that all the layers are getting grabbed. I just want to make sure one layer or one edge is getting grabbed. And you can't tell where I'm stitching on this one. I'm going to close the zipper just to get that little bit out of the way. Okay, I'm coming. There. Oops, and I think I just broke my needle, you guys. Okay, I'll have to replace my needle, and I'll be back. Okay, I've replaced my needle. Let me finish right here where I was. Finish that end. The problem was that I forced it, you guys. Alright, so that's sewn all the way around like it said. And we're going to do the other bag a little different from this one, because we're not going to have like these pockets, because the other mat is like has a lot of openings, so obviously it's not going to work as a pocket. This will obviously work as a pocket really nicely. All right, so let's go ahead and now sew the very outer edge. So we make sure we seal in. Let's see, let's start right here. We seal in. See all that? Then you'll see that little edge. We want to seal that so we don't see it. Alright, so then these just get folded down, and then you could go ahead and sew this down. You can sew this down with a needle, you know, with your hand needle and thread. I mean, if you want to feed it through there and try to sew it, you could. But I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I can put a little embellishment, a little button here, or I could put a little bow, a little ribbon, something, and then of course we have to figure out some handles. But this is what it's looking like so far. See, pockets, pockets. Zip this open, maybe put in a phone in this little side, a pencil or some keys on this other little tiny pocket, and then of course you've got the bigger pocket in here. Now I will say that this pocket is a little bit floppy, this bigger pocket that I left in here, so maybe you don't want to do it as big, maybe make it a little bit smaller, put your phone in, you know, this way rather than, you know, laying down. So that's the only thing that I would change, okay? Just maybe sew down the middle. But everything else looks pretty good. So let's figure out how the other one is going to get done. All right, everyone, it's super hot outside, and I was outside earlier, so I'm still very hot in this craft room. So that's why you can hear my little fan. Okay, so this one is going to do the same thing where I'm going to fold it down like so. And it's going to be like that, right? Okay, so this one I am going to go ahead and do the sewing like that to capture this fabric, and then I'm going to do the same thing over here. Oh, but I want to do something real quick. Let's turn this around this way. So this is the opening of the bag. The zipper is facing up. These pocket, or the pocket that's over here, is going to end up on the inside of the bag. When we open up the zipper, we'll feel the inside pocket, and this is the outside. Now the reason that I did the double lining was because I was thinking about this placemat that it has all these holes, and I wanted to see the fabric nicely, but also when I opened the bag I also wanted to see that nice fabric on the inside. Okay, so now that I've got that, I can unpin the sides because I'm pinning these top edges, so I can take off any pins that are going to be in the way. And let's get these off of here and this one off of here, and then we're going to pop these open like this, and we're going to go to the sewing machine, and we're going to sew along the edge here, and then we're going to do the same thing on this other side. Okay, so let's do that. Alright, so I've managed to sew the edges here, right here, and right here. This is where the purse will open up, and we can unzip it, reach in there. Now, what I did do also on this one, on the pocket, remember I sewed it so I have a little pocket here, and then I'll have a bigger one here. Well, I went ahead and sewed over here too, so I'll have kind of a medium pocket and then another smaller pocket. When all this gets sewn on the sides, there'll be a little small pocket here for a pin. This is big enough to fit a phone. And then over here you can put some keys or something, whatever. You know, put whatever you want in your purse. This was a little more difficult to work with, this particular mat. It just moved everywhere on me. It was very difficult to keep it in one place. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to take it to the sewing machine and then sew all of this where I'm grabbing, you know, the 3 layers, the back, the pocket, and then I'm just calling it the front for the heck of it. I want to grab all of these, sew all of this, so I have that one pocket sealed, and then I'll seal the outer part. But let's do this part first because this is moving all over the place and I need to get this so that it's not moving anymore. All right, be back. Alrighty, when I am back, I sewed the inside, the edges together first, and then I just sewed the outside. I didn't worry about capturing the fabric. That'll be okay. Once I put stuff in there, you know, the fabric will stay down there. Of course, on this one, I won't have that pocket, you know, where this becomes a pocket. I thought it was just going to be too much trouble. You could try to put something in here if you have this type of placemat. I just happened to have this and I thought it would really be cute, and I wanted the fabric to kind of show through. I can see some of the design in there. It looks really pretty. And I'm going to do the same thing where I'm going to stitch this part down. I'm either going to put a little button or a little bow or something, or maybe I'll leave it alone and just let it do that and just have a round bag. Why not, right? That'd be cute. All right, so let me tell you how I got the inspiration, or yeah, where I got the inspiration to create these little totes or bags. So I saw a video and they were making a wall hanging wreath, whatever you want to call it. I think they were calling it a wreath, where they were using Dollar Tree placemats, these round type woven ones, and they had them in blue, red, or teal is what they were finding them in. The one particular video I saw, she used some red ones and she painted and made it look like a watermelon and all that. So when I saw this one at Ross, I said, I have to grab it. It's cute. It's just kind of the same idea. But she did a wall hanging where she left one of them round completely, and then she took one of these and almost folded it in half, right? And then she put some little flowers in there, and it was hung on the wall. Super cute idea. I thought, oh, I want to do that, but you know what? I want to change it because I want it to be something that, I don't know if anybody else is thinking of this, but I wanted it to be my idea. So I thought that would make an actual kind of, as I was looking at the video, I was thinking that would actually make a cute little tote, you know, to carry things. Just put a handle on it, a little purse. If you want to fold it even more, you can make it into a smaller purse. Why not, right? I mean, I wouldn't cut it. I mean, you could sew it and make sure, you know, whatever, but I wouldn't cut it to make it even smaller. This is cute because you could put a book in here, you know, go outside, sit down, grab some things from inside your phone, whatever, and just carry this outside. You don't have to worry about it getting damaged because it's this type of fabric, you know, that it's okay to be outside. Take it to the beach, park, whatever, you know, just throw in your Bible, throw in some novel that you're reading, or just some water, sandwich, whatever. It's your little lunch bag. I thought it was cute just to take outside. Maybe I could just wrap it around my shoulder and maybe throw in my little gardening shovel seeds or whatever I happen to be working on. I mean, I can use this for anything, any type of tote. But again, this is the type of placemats that were being used, these woven ones, and they are nice and you know, very durable, so it works for the idea of taking it outdoors. Okay, that's my story where I decided to make a purse rather than a wall hanging because I wanted it to be a different idea, and it'd be my idea, but who knows, somebody else may have thought of it. Okay, let's figure out some handles for these because these are almost done. I think I just need to pin this down, although I do like the idea of a round purse like that. I do like that. Let me just kind of get it to where it kind of settles into being folded down. Okay, let's make some handles. All right, so I have some ribbons here, and I thought maybe if I folded this like that and just kind of sewed straight on it, maybe put this little twine on it and do a zigzag. That would make a cute little handle for this. I also thought, well, what if I just get strings, whatever length I want, add a little bit extra, maybe 3 of them, maybe braid them, make a thin braided cord and make a handle for that, which I am liking. And then for this one, I have this green plaid that I thought about, well, you know, it's not the exact green on here, but this will make a good little handle, just enough to go over the shoulder, just to hang it over the shoulder, or if you want to make it a, you know, cross body, that's up to you, or just to grab it just like that. Be nice. I like this, and then I can use this also to make a little bow here, maybe one on this side as well. So I think I'm going to use this for the handle here, and I'm just going to cut it long enough, like I said, maybe just to kind of grab it over my shoulder. It doesn't have to be perfect because it's not an actual purse that I take to town, so it's just something I just want to toss over my shoulder, take it outside. I think that'll be good. And I'm going to give it a little bit of an extra length here. How much did I cut? Oh, you guys, usually when I measure from one shoulder to the tip of my fingers like that, I end up cutting an exact yard. And this is an exact yard. Okay, so this is going to be the handles for this. Alright, so then I've got my yard of ribbon here. And I've actually folded one of the ends because I want to make sure this is going to work. And I've already sewn it to one side of my purse. And then I want to put it over on this other side. All I do is fold the edge in and then fold in and fold in. And because it's wire edged ribbon, it stays in place. And I want to make sure, you know, my ribbon is not twisted and it's all like going out nice and smoothly. And then I'm just going to put it inside of here and sew it really well with just a hand needle and thread. I did this on this side. So this is the top part here. We're just going to call it the top because it's facing up. I sewed that in that side. So instead of coming over here and sewing it on the same side, I'm going to go on the opposite side and sew that right here. So I'm going to need more than this of needle and thread, but I just wanted to show you. And I'm going in here and then back. And then I'll do that over and over. And I'll need to load up my needle with more thread. This is just a little bit here that has. So I'll just go back and forth many, many times. So I'll make sure that this is sewn on there really well, just like this other side is, and it won't come apart. So I'll put this over to the side because, like I said, I need to load more thread on there. That's going to make a cute little handle on this one here. For this one, because I have this twine, and I've cut here 6 strands, and this is more than a yard. It's about a yard and like 6 inches or so. I've cut 6 strands because I thought I'd cut 3, but then I thought, oh, it's going to make a really thin braid. So I'm going to braid these, right? So I'm going to grab all these ends first like that, and I'm just going to grab a little piece of thread here and tie all of these so they don't move on me. Tie all the ends, or I could knot them. Okay, just tie them really well like that. Then you have them hanging off of here because they'll get all tangled up on me. I just know that's going to happen. This is going to take me a while to do. And then just grab 2 strings. Why do I have extras? Oh, did I cut extra? Yes, I did. So I have 7 strings here for some reason. Yeah, I do. That's okay. We'll leave 3 on one of them and then 2 and 2. So let's just start braiding. That'll make it nice and thicker actually. Just start braiding and then just keep going down like that so they don't get tangled on you. And if you can somehow pin this or tack this somewhere so it doesn't move on you ever so often, you got to kind of pull on it like that. Make sure it doesn't get too curled up. You could do some other type of like a macrame knotting on here. That would look cute. This is just the easiest thing to do. It's just going to take me a while to get to the end. And I'll be back once I have it all done and the other one is sewn really well. And then I'll probably sew one end on here really, really well. We'll figure out how I'm going to put it on here. And then we'll do the other side. Okay, I'll be back. Alright, so I finished doing the braided handle here, and now I'm just going to go ahead and sew it. Now I've already done sewing it on one side, and I've done the same thing like I did on the beginning where I put a little string around it, knotted it nice and tight, and then I've just trimmed everything. And then what I'm just doing is just making sure that the little rope is kind of going around a little bit straight. Now I'm going to go in here, and because I have this little opening right here, right before the zipper starts, I'm going to tuck that in right in there. And then I'm going to grab on one side the fabric right here, grab my needle and put that knot on the inside. Oops, let's do it again because it just came right through. Maybe I need to knot it thicker. Yeah, actually it's become a little bit of a mess, so let's trim that off. I'm almost finished, you guys, and now suddenly things are happening here. Okay, let me put it through here. Sometimes that works. When your knot's too thin or whatever it keeps going through, just... Okay. Grabbing that little piece of fabric, pushing this in a little bit more so the knot's in there, and I'm just going to start sewing. Pushing the needle through the rope, the knotted part and the fabric. Again, just do it several times till it's nice and, you know, sewn in there. And I'm going to do it actually a few more times, but I'm going to go ahead and just pretend that I did. Oops, I poked myself again. You guys be very careful. I should tell that to myself. It's not bleeding, so that's okay. All right. This one is. My thumb is. Okay, I'm just going to make some knots here. Just finish it off here. I will sew it a little bit more, but just for the, you know, the purpose of finishing things off. And then I'm going to grab some of this string and I'm going to, right, like where it grabs on right here, just kind of pull it through there, and then somewhere on here. Let's see, is that kind of like a centered area? Yeah, that's pretty good. And just tie it once, make a little bow, and that's my cute little embellishment on here. I've already done it on the other side. You can't really see it, but I mean, you could do it with a different little ribbon, something that matches the fabric on the inside. Maybe you have a green twine, or you know, whatever. Just, I'm saying green because I have green on the palms here. That would be cute on there, but I think that looks really cute. When you're looking at it in person, maybe it doesn't show up so well here on the camera, but in person that little bow looks really cute. And it's got a nice little handle, nice pockets inside there. I'm going to zip it up, and there we go. This bag only has that one pocket, this one here, the big one, and then of course the little one's inside here. So that's what I have with this bag. And the other one that I finished off, so the handle's on here really, really well. I decided to put this little gingham ribbon. I had a little bit of it, very little of it, so it was enough to make a couple of little bows. So I made one here and one there, and I think it looks really cute because even though it's pink, but the watermelon here looks kind of pinkish, so it matches really well because I've got a green gingham. It's not the exact green on here, but it still looks really well, or really good on here. And then of course a pink gingham, so that ties in with each other. The colors tie in somehow, some way. And then this bag has a pocket here, it has a pocket here, then you've got your pocket from your fabric, and then the other pocket in here, and then the little one off to the side over here. So there we go, nice pockets to put some stuff in. Maybe you put your sunglasses or water bottle here, and then, you know, whatever other things you want to take outdoors. And we have some completed totes, purses, whatever you want to call them. Alright everyone, so there are my completed bags made with placemats. I thought this project was really wonderful. I challenged myself a little bit. I didn't know where I was going with it, and I'm so glad if you watched the whole video that you followed along. This is a great project. It is a challenging project for beginner sewers. If you want to see more sewing projects, let me know. I would be happy to do that. I kind of want to build an apron, so let me know if you want to see me put an apron together. I want to do one for my gardening. So anyway, I'm going to give myself a big old thumbs up, and I hope that you too will give me a big old thumbs up and leave a kind comment down below. Let me know what you thought of this project. I cannot tell you how super happy I am with them. They both look so cute. I want to keep them. I want to gift them. I don't know what to do. Okay. Anyway, you guys, thank you all so very much. If you are enjoying the content of my videos and you haven't subscribed, I'm going to ask that you please subscribe, hit that red button, and then hit all to get all notifications as soon as I upload a video. Once again, thank you all for watching. Thank you for supporting my channel. And as always, enjoy.